Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea. Welcome to Little Mountain Ranch. I'm really happy to have you here with me today. So what we're going to do right now is go over and grab a shovel and head up to my potato patch, which is right up there, and do some digs and see what we have. So far, what I've seen in the potato patch is that there's lots of potatoes, but they're not huge. So I attribute that to the fact that I didn't give them a top dressing of compost like I normally do in the spring. And also we had some drought conditions this year and potatoes really like consistent moisture. And I did try to do that with the sprinkler, but I don't think I was overly successful. And if we have any that are ready, and I'll show you how to tell that in just a sec, then we may pull an entire row and do some canning. I haven't decided yet because I have a lot of work to do down in the high tunnel today as well. Okay, here we go. This is the potato patch here, and you can see there's lots of weeds in this potato patch. Ignore those. But you can see how these ones are dying off. The ones on this bottom row here, they're starting to die back. That is a good indicator that the potatoes underneath are ready to be harvested, and everything else is starting to turn yellow and die back. So won't be long before we'll be able to do our big harvest. But I do have to go up here and turn off my electric fence that keeps my sheep out. They don't do anything to the potatoes. They know better than to eat the potato vines, but they will go tromp through there to eat up all the weeds, which I will let them do once I have the potatoes out of here. They can get in there and clean it all up for me. Okay, I should have worn better footwear. I'm wearing sandals. I need to go get my work boots. I planted a whole bunch of new potato varieties this year. I buy all my seed potatoes from Eagle Creek here in Canada. They're actually out of Alberta, northern Alberta, and they grow amazing organic seed potatoes. And they had a bunch of new varieties this year, and I wanted to try them all. So these ones here are called Excellency. So let's see what we have. So I do mulch with old hay to try to help with the moisture situation because we do have fairly dry summers up here. And that does seem to work. Ooh, that's a nice looking potato. That's promising. Yeah, definitely need some different shoes on. Oh, these are nice potatoes, and these ones don't have bad scab. I usually get scab on my potatoes. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at these potatoes. Oh, they look fantastic. And there are lots of them in here. Oh my gosh, this is very exciting. That one has a little bit of scab on it, but really not bad at all. Well, I'm pretty happy with that out of one plant. That looks gorgeous. These are beautiful. Okay, now I'm getting excited. I think we're gonna have to eat potatoes today. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love digging potatoes. It's like a treasure hunt. Got a few little itty bitty babies in there, but okay, that is thrilling. So Excellency are excellent little potatoes. Okay, let's try the next row. Okay, so these ones are banana fingerlings. Now fingerlings are usually, at least these banana fingerlings are usually a smaller potato, but generally very prolific. This spot's a little drier than down there was. These ones, not as great. That is highly unusual because fingerlings are usually super prolific and definitely bigger in size usually than these little ones are. These are just little tiny ones. Oh well, we'll go down a little bit further and see if maybe it was just this plant. Okay, let's try down here where the mulch is a bit better and it's not quite as dry. Okay, definitely more here, but not really as many as I'm used to getting from fingerlings. That's interesting. normally I'll get like 20 potatoes under each plant. We like using these fingerling potatoes because they're kind of waxy to slice up to make poutine with. Poutine is a French-Canadian dish that's usually made with French fries. And sometimes you can put bacon on, which we usually do, cheese curds and gravy, and it is delicious. So these are going to be good size for that, but not really great size for storage. Not super big. I don't see my tag for this row. Oh dear. So my tag has been eaten by the earth, it looks like here. So I'm gonna have to check and see my planting map for what these ones are. Let's pull them up and see if we can determine by looking at them. Super small potatoes. Oh dear, I hope this isn't like the way it's gonna be all the way up. So the soil is super dry here, so I'm suspecting my sprinkler is not reaching this end part here. Let's go in a little further and see what we can find, because these ones are just tiny. Okay, let's try in here. There's more moisture in this part. These ones are a little bit better size-wise. But you know what? I planted so many potatoes this year that even if they're all not huge in size, there's so many of them that I should be good for winter either way. Yeah, these ones are certainly better down here where they got more moisture, so that's something I'll have to keep in mind for next year. Make sure that my sprinkler is actually hitting the whole thing. So these ones look like German butterball to me. But that's not bad, and they don't have scab down here, which is great. Okay, so these ones are red potatoes, and they look lovely, and there's tons of them, yay! These are beautiful. So these are red on the outside, but white flesh on the inside. These are gorgeous potatoes. Ew, I just put my hand through the seed potato that's all gone to mush in here. Lots of potatoes under this one plant, and they are beautiful, just gorgeous. Oh, I'm so happy. I was feeling a little nervous after that last pull there. But that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 potatoes from one plant. So that makes me very happy. Okay, this row is russet Burbank. Oh, these look gorgeous too, yay! Beauties. I'm so happy with the lack of scab on these. They look fantastic. Definitely dry here too though. Super happy with those. Man, it is such a weedy mess in here. Oh my goodness. I don't know where my tag is. My tag has been eaten by the grass over here for these ones too. This hemp nettle, it's related to stinging nettle, but not stinging nettle, is just awful because when it goes to flower and then it goes to seed, these are all really prickly. Ugh, it's awful stuff. Okay, these ones, absolutely gorgeous potatoes again. You see over the weeds there. Beautiful potatoes. Again, they're not huge, like definitely not massive potatoes, but I'm thrilled with the lack of scab on them. Thrilled with the number of potatoes under each plant. So that's fantastic. Okay, these ones here are Norland. So this one is another red potato, and they just grew really, really well, but it does have some scab on it on these ones. And my mom was telling me today, my mom is an avid gardener as well, that she's been doing a bunch of research into this because she had really bad scab on hers. That is an alkalinity issue, so that the soil is too alkaline. So that's something I'll keep in mind when I'm doing amending in here. One of the things that is recommended with potatoes is not to plant them in the same spot year after year to make sure that you rotate them, which I'm pretty terrible at doing. Occasionally I do, but most of the time I just plant my potatoes up here. And I get decent enough potatoes. I'm not too worried about it. And there's not been a ton of disease in here. So that is fantastic. I am happy with those. Oh dear, the name has rubbed off that. Good thing I kept a map. Oh right, these ones were a purple fingerling potato and also really super tiny. That's a first, but also bone dry. Bone dry. Ew, gross. Hand in the seed potato again. Not a great fingerling year. That is for sure. Some more gorgeous red potatoes up there. So this looks like the year of the red potato because these are just beautiful, great size, just gorgeous. So I think what I'm going to do is can the Excellency potatoes. Those were those nice big ones that I picked out of the first row. I think I'll pick that whole row and get those canned because they're a nice big size and I like to peel my potatoes when I can them. They'll just be easier to peel than the smaller ones. And as far as storage, the larger potatoes do store a little bit better in my root cellar, but not so significantly that I'm going to worry about keeping the big ones for storage. I'll just can the bigger ones because it's easier. So let's go take a peek down here. So you can see how our vines are dying back, and I have picked most of the melons out of here, but I still have a couple back over there. So I'm going to pick all the melons out and then actually take these vines right out. I also have these ones over on this side to deal with. So I did this morning, I was just reaching down to check on the cantaloupe that was sitting there, and it popped right off the vine. So we're going to bring that up to the house, as did the other one that was over in there. But our honeydew's still hanging on, so we'll leave that one because the vines still look okay. And then we have lots of tomatoes to deal with. I was just saying to Dan that I possibly did not have to buy tomatoes this year. We bought 400 pounds of tomatoes like we do every year because normally I can't grow enough in my high tunnel for our needs for an entire year. I'm just going to open up this back door because it is warm in here. And we got those all canned up last week, but it looks like we are going to get at least a few more weeks of frost-free weather, which means that my tomatoes in here are going to have time to ripen, and they are also just prolific. Each plant grew, I feel like, twice as many tomatoes as they have in the past. So I'm actually going to be giving a big box of tomatoes, probably the tomatoes that I pick right now, away to one of my neighbors. I gave her a bunch of seedlings in the spring, and then she's giving me, she has corn, so she's going to be giving me corn and squash because my squash didn't do awesome. And I'm going to send over a box of tomatoes to her today. So that's fun. It's fun to be able to do that, to if you have had something that did really, really well and you have more than you need, and then maybe a friend down the road grew something else that did really well, to do a trade is always awesome. And goodness knows I have enough tomatoes this year. So let's get all these melons pulled out of here. And the way that you can tell that your melons are ready, and I've just recently learned this, is they'll start turning color, but also they'll just pop right off the vine. Like, you won't have to pull them. Just touching them will make them come off. What's really fun about these northern melons is they are slightly different. Some of them have orange flesh, some of them have like a light green flesh. But they're all delicious. And one of my daughters is an absolute melon junkie. She will eat 6 or 7 melons a day. So these ones are pretty tiny here, but I'll show you some of the bigger ones in a second. Yeah, she will just eat melons all day long. She had a melon bowl with ice cream and honey drizzled on top last night, and she thought she had died and gone to heaven. Wow, there's even more melons in here than I thought. So my plan for all of these melons is, to freeze dry them. We'll eat some of them fresh, of course, but we will also freeze dry them. Look at the size of that one. That's a nice size one. So I'm definitely going to be saving seeds off of these. These are fantastic. So all of these, plus I've probably picked at least 7 or 8 off here already, are off of 3 plants. It makes me kind of sad to pull these out. This feels like the first official kind of autumn cleanup here. Okay, now we have tomatoes. Look at these, so awesome. And there are just tons of tomatoes. So many. Okay, I have 500,000 tomatoes to pick here. So I'm gonna pick these, go up and pull out those potatoes, and then I'll meet you back up at the kitchen and we will get into turning all of this food into something delicious for the winter pantry. All right, friends, I feel like half the day has passed since I was with you earlier today. I ended up picking 3 boxes of tomatoes, and my neighbor came over, grabbed those tomatoes, and brought me this huge box of beautiful purple beans. So I am going to blanch and freeze dry these, and then a big, beautiful box of corn. And then we got all those potatoes picked. So the Excellency potatoes that I was planning on canning, I just looked them up and they're actually more of a baking chip fry potato than they are a canning potato. You want to use a potato that is kind of waxy for canning because it holds its shape better and doesn't have as much starch in it. So I decided to pick a whole bunch of these all red potatoes. As you can see, they are red, and these ones apparently hold their color when they're cooked, which I have never seen before. I've grown purple and red potatoes before that are red and purple all the way through, but the color just kind of fades out and they look more gray. So these ones are supposed to hold their color. So we're gonna put them to the test and see. I have my pressure canners set up. I'm gonna run 3 pressure canners, and I have a pot of water going on the stove because what I've been doing is soaking these potatoes to soak out some of the starch. So I'm gonna rinse them off, boil them for 2 minutes, and that just helps pull a little bit more of the starch out. And then we're gonna pressure can them for 40 minutes in our pressure canners. So I have all my jars in the dishwasher over here. So first, where did my strainer go? There it is. I'll strain out these taters here. Rinse them off. All right, we have our taters there. I haven't decided what to do with that corn yet. I think I might, depending on the size of the kernels when I actually open them up, I may end up pressure canning those as well. And then I have the 2 roaster ovens that are just behind you that are filled with tomatoes that I've been cooking down since last night, and I need to run those through the tomato machine, which is just an electric food mill. I should say it's a bit more than a glorified food mill because it actually doubles as a meat grinder as well. It's a fantastic machine. But I'm going to run that through, and then I think I'm going to make chili base. And I've never made chili base before, but the whole idea sounds fantastic. My friend Jessica from 3 Rivers Homestead, who I'm sure many of you follow, she's wonderful, but she makes it, and she loves convenience food in the winters like I do. And said it's just fantastic to be able to throw together a chili really quickly. So you do the like tomato, onion, peppers, and then all the seasonings, and then you can just open up a couple of jars of canned ground meat and some beans and throw them all together and have a really quick chili. And I love that idea. So I think that's what I'm going to do with that. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get to that on this video or if it'll be in the next one, but we'll wait and see. I need a funnel. I got to yakking with my neighbor when she came over, and I didn't get myself as organized as I normally am for canning like this. Okay, we're gonna add a teaspoon of pickling salt to each one of these jars. And this isn't necessary, more just for flavor. Oh, shoot. I missed blanching. Whoops. All right, blanch. 2 minutes. I think I mentioned this, but the whole purpose of this blanching is just to get some more of the starch out. While we're waiting, let's check out this corn. That is pretty corn, little tiny cobs, but nice developed corn, and this is peaches and cream. So it's the delicious, tender, sweet stuff. Okay, I am going to strain out these potatoes now because they've been boiling for 2 minutes. And I don't, normally when I'm blanching, I'll reuse the water. So I'll just scoop out the veggies so that I don't have to reheat an entire pot again. But in this case, the whole purpose is to remove the starch, and I don't want to boil these in that starchy water. Well, they did hold their color through that process anyway. Okay, those are warm. So now we're gonna put our potatoes that are a little bit warm. Might want to use gloves for this part. Into our jars. I will be surprised if these actually maintain their color through the canning process. Then we're going to top these off with hot water and pop them in our canner. Canners, I'm kind of hoping I just have to run the 3 canners through once and have them all done. Definitely if you're doing large batches, either buying a really large canner or having multiple canners going can save you a lot of time. And then definitely debubble these, or give them a little wiggle. Get all the extra air trapped in there out. I find for a larger product like this, giving it a little bit of a shake rather than debubbling actually works better, because it's kind of hard to get a debubble stick down in there, but this helps to get the air bubbles out. Okay, next round in the pot. These are definitely a nice potato for canning, I can tell already, because they really don't have a lot of starch in them at all. Okay, looks like we're gonna have to run another canner through again, since I only have room for 9 more. Canned potatoes are just the best for making winter soups. You can dump them out and rinse them off and make hash browns with them. I love having canned potatoes. Okay, we are going to jar up the rest of these, and then we are going to put together our chili base. I've decided to do that because I have more tomatoes to put into these roaster ovens. These roaster ovens are basically going all the way through now until I don't have any tomatoes left to process. So I got to run them through when they're needing to be run through, which they are now. Okay, we have all of our tomatoes here, all mixed up, blended up, and ready to add all of our seasonings to. So I strained my tomatoes before I processed them and ended up with all of this juice. And in the video where Dan and I processed 400 pounds or 375 pounds of tomatoes, something like that, I just strained it right down. Oh, it's about to go. Hang on one sec. What was I gonna say? The tomato juice. So anyway, I strained the tomato juice right down the drain when I did that video. And the reason for that is that none of us like tomato juice, but many of you mentioned that this makes a fantastic base for beef stew, which is something that we make all the time in the winter. So I decided to save it from this batch, and I'm gonna can that up and give it a try, because I know already it's probably gonna be really good. So I'm gonna do that. And then with this, we are going to season this. I'm gonna go grab my recipe, 1 sec. So last week I put out a survey because I wanted to do another Zoom call, a Q&A Zoom call. The last one we did was on, oh, I need my goggles, was on canning, and it was fantastic and so much fun, and everyone seemed to really enjoy it. But instead of choosing the topic, we did a survey to find out what it was that you guys would like to talk about. And mostly the feedback was, oh my gosh, my eyes, 1 sec. A lot of people said that they were looking for help with planning their garden, how to know how much to plant for their family, how to plant in a small space, troubleshooting garden issues and things like that. So we're going to have the chat kind of around that subject, although I'm more than happy to answer preserving questions in that as well. So we're going to open it up with me answering some of those questions that came in on the survey, and then we'll have a general Q&A. And during that call, we're going to do a couple of giveaways for some garden goodies, along with everyone that attends the call is going to get a copy of my 2025 garden journal. So I'm really excited about it. The call is absolutely free. In order to register for it, you can just click the link down below this video, or in the pinned comment, there'll be a link there as well. And then you can register for the call there, and then I'll send you all the details about it and the link for the call and all of that. And I hope to see lots of you there. Those calls are always so fun. So funny thing, you remember how I was talking about setting timers and how you need to have multiple timers? I'm scared to take these off because I still have all these onions here. Multiple timers set if you're running multiple canners. And I don't know why this didn't occur to me. This just goes to show how not techie I am, but that you can set multiple timers on your phone and then label them for which canner they're for. I don't know why that never occurred to me. So needless to say, we're going to set this one for that, and there we go. Did I tell you last time we were canning together that the electric pressure canner takes way longer to go through all of its steps than the ones, the stovetop ones do? It's still fantastic, still very convenient, but definitely takes a long time. Okay, so we are going to add some chili powder and some cumin and some oregano and paprika. A little smoked paprika. Okay, I'm still trying to use up this garlic scape powder, so I'm going to add a little of that in there. Oh, that was a lot. That's okay, we love garlic around here. Okay, we're going to add 1, 2. That's yummy. Doesn't need any more sugar, but does need more chili powder. Okay, we have some beautiful peppers from the high tunnel here, some celery, and also a couple more onions. So I'm going to get those chopped up, put those in there. And my electric pressure canner was just not pressuring up for whatever reason, so I have unplugged it. I'm letting it cool down, and I'm going to see if maybe the seal isn't on properly or something like that, and try again. Okay, so we'll get all this chopped up, put in there. Like I said, I'm going to let that cook on low overnight, and I'll can it in the morning along with the tomato juice. So I'll show you that in the next video, but I'll be back with you before we close out this video so that I can show you the canned potatoes and hopefully let you know what was going on with my canner. Ooh, I hope it's not broken. All right, friends, it is the next morning. All the potatoes are done. They did not hold up in the canner, maintaining their nice bright pink color. They kind of look sort of pinky brown now, but that's okay. They taste just fine. I did get all of the chili sauce put into the canners this morning, and I ended up with all 3 canners full, which is fantastic. And really great news, it was the seal. It was just off on one spot, so it wasn't sealing all the way, but it worked perfectly well this morning, and I'm very relieved because it is not an inexpensive machine. So yay for that. So altogether we ended up with 42 more jars for the pantry, which feels pretty fantastic. So I am going to do many more batches of potatoes because like I said, I like to have around 100 jars of potatoes on the pantry shelf, and I think I'm probably going to do at least 3 or 4 more batches of this chili base as well. It tastes really fantastic. I hope the flavor is as good. It will be slightly altered from the pressure canning, but I hope it's close to as good anyway, because what a fantastic product to have on the shelf. I hope you enjoyed today's video, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.